Hey friends, this is Becky back with Bountifully Blessed. I am excited because today we're just going to have a little bit of fun in the kitchen. So I've got a couple of different things that we're going to be doing today. We are going to be making a delicious garlic infused oil. My husband and I absolutely love flavored oils, and we usually buy them, but they can get really expensive. So why not just make it myself? So I've got my lovely thing of olive oil here. I have this really cute jar that I actually have that I got cleaned out and took the annoying sticky label that they usually put on them with the lid. So I think this will be really, really pretty. I love containers. I'm a sucker for pretty containers, especially if they're glass. So we're going to put our oil in here, which is going to be fun. It actually has this really nice little filter that came with it as well that goes around it. So that'll be really, really handy if we end up wanting to keep the cloves of garlic in it. So I've got this lovely massive amount of garlic. I'm a sucker for some good garlic, so I'm excited. It's a very easy process. Most of it is just waiting a little bit. So we're going to get these garlic cloves prepped and ready to go. They're going to stay whole. And then I've got a pan, or rather a pot, that is going to be perfect. I'm going to put my oil in here, and I'm going to put my garlic cloves in here as well. And we're going to let those do their thing. I think I'm going to do more of a roasted garlic oil. So I'm going to let them get a little bit more browned than I guess standard garlic oil will be. So I'm actually just going to get these prepped and ready to go. We're going to get the coating, the little paper that is naturally around garlic, and we're just going to take that off. So I actually have this really cool gadget that I got from my aunt that is really handy for these kinds of things, and for taking this off. Let me grab that. I'm going to show it to you. It's pretty cool. Potentially. Where's it at? There it is. So it's this fabulous little tube. It's like silicone. And you take your garlic cloves, stick them in there, and then you roll it. I've done the stick it in a jar and shake it method. There's a lot of different methods that people have come up with to help with doing the garlic cloves. So let's test a couple of them out. So I'm going to put a couple in a jar here and seal them. And we're going to give them a good shake and see which one works better. That is really loud. It is working. I don't know if you could see that, but this one is perfectly unwrapped. It can be a little bit more of a loud, it's going to sound like I'm a drummer up in here. I think the original method that I used when I did this is I have a jar that isn't one that I use for canning, that doesn't have this particular type of lid, but maybe a little bit louder, but it works. So as you can see, it is working. It's not ideal. If you really, really want to work out your muscles, though, it's definitely a good workout for the, the forearm here and your biceps. I mean, I know I need some more help with those areas. So you've got that method, which does work really well if you have a less noisy jar. So we're going to set that method aside here. You can take a knife if you're planning on cutting them, and you can literally just smash them down a little bit. That method works well too. Let's see here. I'm going to bring you down. Okay, we're back. That was a struggle bus, but we got it. So you can actually take a knife and you can get your garlic clove, put a little bit of a smash. That actually works really, really well for getting the peels off as well. But this is a fabulous little gadget. Stick your garlic in there and you give it a good little roll and it breaks it off for you as well. So there's a lot of really cool little tricks for it. It can be a little bit of a time-consuming process, but there's so many different ways to do it that works like a charm. So figure out what works best for you. And voila. I still think overall, I think this is probably one of the best methods I have found that works really well. And because it's got that silicone lining, it's really easy to clean out. And I'm not smashing them. So in this case, I obviously don't want to smash the garlic. I want to keep them in whole cloves. And I am being a struggle bus. I thought it was more ready than it was to come out, but figure out what method works for you. Those are kind of the standard methods I've used for getting the lovely coating off of my garlic. But I don't exactly know what this is called, but I'm sure you could probably find one online. And I think they're fabulous. So, highly recommend. All right, I'm going to finish peeling this and then we are going to hop over to the stove and we are going to throw all of our garlic and oil into a pot. Let's see. I feel like that's a pretty decent amount that's going to go in this bottle. Yeah. I've got, let's see, 3, 6, I've got 9 cloves here. So I think that's pretty good. And they're really good sized cloves. So let's hop over to the stove and we will get this done. So now that we have our pan here, we're going to get that started on a medium to low heat. We've got our lovely oil here, whatever olive oil you're going to use. I'm going to coat the bottom of the pan, or the pot rather. And I'm going to grab my lovely garlic cloves and we're just going to toss those in here. And so usually you want to leave them in there for a good 20 minutes or so. I'm going to let mine go a little bit longer because obviously I am wanting to do more of like a roasted garlic olive oil. So we'll kind of get a feel for it as time moves on. I'm going to get, I was looking for a specific little doodad, but this will work. All right, get my nice little thing here. And we're just going to keep an eye on this, make sure that nothing burns. Obviously, that's a big part. And we're literally just going to be extracting all of that yummy garlic flavor into the oil. And that's really this simple. So while this is doing its thing, we are actually going to hop back over and I have another little project that I'm going to be doing. I'm working on dinner tonight and I absolutely love a flavored butter. So I actually have some homemade butter that I got out that I am softening and we'll see if it's soft enough yet. Get our lovely little handy dandy thing here. And we're going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to set a small timer. We're going to check on it in probably about 10 minutes or so, and we will keep checking on it. Okay, so now we're going to have some fun making some flavored butter. One of my favorite things to do if you just want a yummy flavor for some meat. I've got some yummy steak that I'm making up tonight, and I'm a sucker for some really good butter. So I've had my butter here. Ooh, yeah, it's getting nice and soft. So this is some homemade butter that I had in my freezer and I just needed it to defrost a little bit. So what I actually did is I got some nice hot water in here, had my butter in here, and now it is nice and softened. So I've got this fabulous container that I like to use for my butter. flavored butter because it comes with this nice little lid. I got these from Dollar Tree and they're awesome. So we're going to take our butter. I didn't salt this butter when I made it, so we'll make sure we add a little bit of salt because that's a necessity. Just checking on our garlic here. Going to turn it down a little bit. I don't want it to burn. I do want it to infuse, but I don't want it to burn. Okay, I'm just going to get a lovely fork here, and I'm going to give this a good smash. I want to make sure that this is softened enough to be able to throw in all of our yummy flavors. Oh yeah, that'll be perfect. So just like anything you want, like your air-dried butter, to make a good flavored butter. So what I'm going to be making is one of my favorites. It's a garlic lemon basil butter. And I tell you, oh, it is so heavenly. And then with some homemade butter, you just can't get any better than that. So it's as simple as it sounds. Make sure that your butter is softened. Obviously, you don't want it runny, but you want it to be softened so that it'll, obviously, everything will incorporate really well. And so now that I've got that nice and softened, I'm going to get my garlic cloves here. And you do want them to be minced in this case. So you can mince them yourself if you want, obviously with your knife. I love my little mincer because I don't have to worry about that. I've got this fabulous little contraption here that will mince my garlic for me. Pop that bad boy in there, and voila. It's that easy. Stuff is a game changer. I remember when I got this thing. It was amazing. It's such a time saver too. So let's see. That's a pretty decent amount of butter. I think I'm going to do one more good sized clove. And then obviously we can taste it. I mean, can you really have too much garlic? Let's be honest. Some of you might think so. I'm a sucker for garlic, so I love me some good garlic. All right. Got our garlic in there. Since I didn't have any salt in this before, let's grab some salt. Just going to get some of my pink Himalayan salt here. Don't want to pour too much, so I use the small side for that reason. And then obviously you can taste it. So I've got my yummy garlic in there. We added our salt. Lemon juice, which I've got right here. You can obviously use fresh from a lemon if you want. Just give that a good little squirt. You don't want too much, but that citrus is so good. I'm a sucker for some good citrus. And I usually have, which I do have, and I'm going to incorporate that as well. I have some lemon zest. But I don't like having lemons that go bad so easily. Okay, we're turning down our garlic quite a bit. Okay, so I actually started pre-zesting my lemons because I was having lemons go bad so quickly for things. So I started zesting them and putting them in ice cubes, but this one didn't have ice cubes, so I'm going to add some yummy lemon zest in there. Want to add some beautiful color, and let's be honest, it tastes amazing. And I do actually have some fresh basil, but if you don't have fresh basil, you can use dried basil. I do have some homemade dried basil that I need to make some more of that I can use. Excuse me. So I'm actually going to go... I've got my little corner greenhouse that's literally right here in my living room. I'm going to go actually prune off a little bit of some homemade basil. Let me grab my scissors here and we'll grab that. So that way we can have some fresh basil, because there really is no better way to have basil. I love having fresh basil. Look at that right there, ready to go. I didn't have to go out to the garden for it. It's just right here ready for me. So we'll get that going here. And fun little hack, I don't know if you're familiar with how to cut basil, but if you take your leaves and basically make them bigger to smaller and put them inside of each other like this, boop, boop, and then you roll it like a little burrito. It's a basil burrito. And then you're gonna give them good little slices. It's really that simple. And now, voila! So I'm gonna add that to our butter here. It's so good, I'm telling you. There's nothing quite like some fresh herbs. The smell of them is heavenly. If I can get them in the container, apparently they don't want to be in the butter. But fresh herbs, there's nothing quite like them. And that's as easy as that, my friends. So now when I have my steak tonight, this will be a wonderful topper. You'll just get some butter, slather that on top of my steaks, and oh, it's heavenly. So now this is ready to go in the fridge and it's ready for use. Yeah, it smells so yummy. I think I'm going to add just a tiny bit more lemon juice just because I'm just smelling a ton of garlic, which, again, you can't really have too much garlic. But I want to make sure I get those citrus notes in here too. Beautiful. And now this is ready to go in the fridge. And then it can pop that onto a nice hot steak. And it'll melt and you'll get all of those yummy flavors. So we're gonna, there's our garlic. Let's hop over here. Let's take a look how our garlic is looking. Okay. So our garlic is definitely looking nice and golden brown. I did turn it down because obviously I was afraid of it burning. So what I'm going to do is I am going to set the timer for another 10 minutes and then we will check on it now that I have the temperature turned down. I think I'm going to add a little bit more oil as well. And then we'll be back when we're going to put it in our container. Okay, friends, we're back. I decided to add some extra oil and some extra garlic. I had just a couple cloves left, so I wanted to make sure that I had a good bit to put in my container. So we're just kind of in the final stretches here of letting this do its thing. I was noticing the coloring of these garlic cloves. I don't know why, but they totally make me think of like donuts. like when they've been, you know, in the oil. So what we have here is we have some garlic donuts. And that is what I'm calling them. I don't know what I'm going to do with the roasted garlic yet. I'm debating because I really like to make garlic powder and garlic salt. So I think I might try that with these and see how they turn out. But I'm not 100% sure yet. So we'll kind of figure out what we're going to do. But it's very interesting because they're like super, super soft when you like put pressure on them. It's like they've lost all of their substance. It's very interesting texture wise. So I'm just going to leave these for a little bit longer. At this point, I've had them in, oh my goodness, probably 45 minutes because I did add extra oil. I actually did take the original cloves out and just added those back in. That way they didn't get overdone. And so since I'm kind of in the final stretch, I figured I would toss those other ones back in, make sure that they all get really good and just all that yumminess goes in this oil, and then we will get this all packed up. So at this point, honestly, I think I should be good. So I'm just gonna turn this up to medium heat, and I'm just gonna let it do like a rolling boil for a minute, because yeah, see, some of these are starting to get burnt. Yep, the original ones. So I'm just gonna call it good. All right, so what you want to do is remove the garlic cloves, obviously. So I've got this little container. I'm just going to toss them in for now. Strain my garlic yumminess. I'm telling you, they look like they're donuts. It's super funny. That like browning color that you get from donuts. So whenever you make garlic infused oil, you're just making garlic donuts. Okay. And I've got all that yummy garlic. All right. I've got a little bit that's drained off of my spoon here, so I don't want any of that to go to waste, right? All right. So we are going to transfer this into our bottle, and voila, we'll be done. Friends, we're in the very last, very, very simple state here of our oil, of our garlic oil. So I'm actually going to take this so that I can pour it more delicately, we'll say, into our container, because I tend to be just a little clumsy, just a titch. Looks like I've got a couple of little pieces in here, so let's do this. Okay, I'm going to do a quick strain of it. Should not be setting that on there with how hot it is. Okay, just doing a quick strain. Okay, beautiful. Okay, has a little bit left in it. Okay, looking good. There was some little remnants in there, so I didn't want that to get in there. So I'll put this back in here, make sure it looks as amazing as expected. And I am making steak tonight with that yummy butter we made. So we are definitely going to enjoy this in our dinner tonight. I'm going to utilize this significantly. So let's get this in our lovely jar, our container, so that way we can let it cool down. And it's going to be super duper yummy. And this is perfect. I'm glad I decided to add some more garlic and some more oil, because there wouldn't have been very much. And I had a couple little miscellaneous, little teeny tiny cloves, and I'm like, what am I going to do with these? Like, even making any kind of leftover garlic powder or anything, they're just so tiny. So I think, so that I can control the porridge a little bit better, that I'm going to keep this lovely thing on there. And I would normally label this so that way we know exactly what it is, but I don't feel like that's necessary, because this is the only one I have that is this color and is oil. So I'll know that it's garlic. I have a couple more of these bottles that eventually I'll want to utilize, but I'm going to actually keep this, since obviously it is still hot because it just came out. I'm going to keep this nice and open and let it cool off. So there we are. There we have it. This is going to be super, super yummy. You can dip your bread in it. In our case, I'm going to cook with this for our dinner tonight, so that way that garlicky goodness just gets into our steak. So I'm very, very excited for this. Plus, it looks so beautiful and elegant. Come on now. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. Anyways, I hope that you found this video fun, informational. Give them a try. Have some fun with infusing some oils. infusing oil is really, really fun. It's so delicious. If you've never used oils and vinegars for your breads, get, some really good French bread, and dip them in some good oils and vinegars. Oh, it's so good. It's a game changer. So I highly encourage you to have some fun with that. And if you're scared to make it yourself, at least go out and adventure a little bit. Buy some infused oils and see what kind of flavors you like. And then maybe you can feel more comfortable going out of your normal comfort zone and making them yourself. So I hope that you found this video to be helpful, fun, and encourage you to get out of your comfort zone. Everything does not have to be difficult. Most things are actually quite simple. We just tend to overcomplicate them. So I will leave that with you. Have an awesome night, and I pray that you will be bountifully blessed.